we're so scary right now.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween.
I'm going to talk like this the whole episode.
Hey, yeah, can I get a tequila soda, please? Thank you.
Guys, look at us. Aren't you scared?
You guys have to pop over to Viz if you're on audio.
Please look at visual right now. We worked so hard. Actually, we pulled this together really quick.
Yeah, pretty quick. But the like process before all of this weekend,
right?
Getting the costumes, figuring out all the details, that's where it was. We put a lot of work in.
Yeah. There was a whole lot of back and forth for like what we wanted to be. But then on top of all that, we didn't have plans for Halloween weekend. So we were like buying these costumes without even like knowing what the hell we're dressing up for.
But
now we have plans.
And
we're dressed up.
What are you, Kristen?
I am Chucky and
a dead doll.
The doll. Yeah, not Rugrats. I'm like, like the killer doll. We all know who Chucky is at this point.
I'd hope so.
I need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely dyed my hair red. This is not a wig. I really committed to the bit, so I'm gonna have red hair for probably the next 2 months.
Yeah. It's okay. It's cute.
I like it.
It fits you.
I think it'll fade really cool too. It'll be like a cool like copper. And it didn't do anything to my brown, which I like. So I still kind of have my like rooted look. Who fucking cares? It's hair. It's Arctic Fox too. And that dye just fades so nicely and it's not harmful.
Good quality.
Right. It's all vegan. I think you could even use it like on like kids and shit. So whatever. But yeah, I'm Chucky. If you aren't gonna come over to visual, I'm pretty spot on.
Yeah.
I even did like my face makeup too. I have little scars over my face. And yeah, what are you, Alex?
I'm Jennifer's body.
Scary.
I wish I could like stand up.
Do it. You want me to hold your mic to your mouth? I'll narrate it. She has a little skirt on. She put some blood. It's the white puffer scene, if you're wondering what it is. She has blood all over her puffer and her face, and then these really cool stockings. I think it's a cute outfit.
Yeah, I realized that like I think the style for my body type is definitely like low rise 2000s.
This is it. Like it's your cut. Like there's something.
I'm so comfortable.
You're like embodying her like energy right now.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna fuck around and drink someone's blood
and kill somebody. Or she eats them, right?
She sucks their. Yeah, she eats them, but like it's for the blood.
It's for the vibes.
It's for the vibes.
I'll kill them because Chucky kills, and then you can eat them.
Perfect.
What if they came up with a movie? Chucky and Jennifer's body.
No, what if there's like crazy murders this weekend in New York and like people think it's us because we said we were gonna.
I think about that every Halloween. I'm like, so who's gonna really commit to the bit this year?
Oh,
who's gonna do it
The Purge.
in a haunted house? That too, or like, I always think about like Halloween Horror Nights. Like somebody can dress up as a killer. And then like actually walk around with a knife and people will be like, oh my God, it's such a good costume. And like they can like.
Yeah. I always think about that with like Michael Myers shit and like Scream. Oh, such a good costume.
I saw a TikTok earlier. I meant to send it to you. Maybe I did. It was 2 girls dressed as like colonial men.
Oh my God.
Sexy version. So they had like a skirt, your cut, but it was like khaki. And then they had blue coats.
Shut the fuck up.
And then they had like wigs and like
that's so
big
good.
glasses, but they were like sexy with it. It was so, I'll find it and I'll show it to you. I'm like, I wish I saw this earlier. I would have totally done that this year.
That's so good. I love how creative people are getting.
Oh my God. Every year it's like, I feel like there's so much pressure to top your last costume too. Like
I'm like really excited. So you guys are watching this on Monday.
So you would have seen all of our shit.
But tomorrow we're being Avengers. I'm being Thor.
I'm being Spider-Man.
You're being yassified Spider-Man.
I was gonna say I'm being like sexy Spider-Man.
Sexy Spider-Man. So I'm being sexy Thor, but like not as much as like sexy Spider-Man.
Sure. I mean it's still pretty fucking sexy. You're in like a whole body suit.
Yeah.
It's just like a different.
It's just like a different sexy.
But I ordered 4 different Spider-Man looks for you guys to see which one would work. And originally I just wanted to do like an OG jumpsuit, head to toe, zipper in the back, like almost like a little boy version. But then the one I ordered, it just like didn't fit right, and it honestly was like really cheap material
and stunk.
It stunk so bad. I don't know what I was expecting. So as a backup, I found like a excuse me, like a bodysuit, literally like a cute like high neck like halter bodysuit. and it fits perfectly. So I'm gonna wear that with fishnets and then my big red boots. And yeah,
It's gonna be so good.
It'll be good. It'll be comfortable, but I just know I'm gonna be so cold. Like right now, I'm warm. I'm in a long sleeve and overalls and sneakers.
And like I'm gonna be cold tonight because the tights, but we haven't opened the door yet. Like it's crispy
cold
outside.
You got a puffer though. You'll be okay.
Yeah, and we're gonna be in like everything we're doing. We're gonna be inside
For
and
sure.
a club.
Yeah. No, we'll be fine. Tomorrow night we're going to a pregame that's on a rooftop.
yeah.
So it's actually gonna be kind of cold.
We just gotta drink ourselves a sweater.
Exactly. But
Speaking of Avengers, Black Panther is coming out mid-November or early November.
I think
in a few weeks,
yeah,
right?
like November. I want to say like 12th or 16th. Those two numbers are in my head. But
I am so excited. So I recently watched the first Black Panther just like maybe like a few weeks ago, and I was literally at the edge of my seat, and I immediately turned on the trailer to the next one after, and I was like, I shed a tear.
Yeah. Oh no! When I saw it the first time, we were seeing a movie, and I was like, "Hold on,
Oh my god!
there's a new Black Panther coming out." I had like chills in my body.
Have you heard the Rihanna song?
No, it's already out.
Yeah, she dropped it last night. It's for the soundtrack for Wakanda.
Oh, fuck!
It's good. It's good. She sounds older in it.
Huh.
Like her voice is mature. And it's like
Really?
the song itself is like a soundtrack song. You could tell it's not Rihanna.
She's not like writing about a love. It's about like power and like strength.
Right. It's literally
even
called
heard it.
Lift Me Up.
Right. Yeah.
It's good.
Is her voice deeper? Maybe
I guess you could say that.
maybe after having kids too, like shit change, like your
Yeah.
hair changes, your skin changes, like maybe your voice changes.
Yeah. I don't know. She just sounds more mature. It's not like, but the song itself isn't like hype. So she's not hitting that.
She's not like
note.
using her voice as much.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to listen to it.
It's good. Yeah, it got me, I listened to it today for the first time, and it got me really excited for Wakanda.
I'm so pumped. Like we were talking about this last night. I want to be there Thursday night, midnight premiere. Like I haven't seen a premiere the night
Since
it comes
Twilight.
out since Twilight. Like
Yeah.
we used to like camp out and shit, and I just feel like people don't do that anymore.
Fully, we would go get Chipotle in Walnut Creek
Yep.
and camp out outside the theater.
Yes, like sit on the floor.
Sit on the floor with our Chipotle, probably at like 7 p.m.
Yep.
to sit in line. And then you had to be the first, because they didn't like do pre-sale tickets. You had to like be in line to get your
Right.
ticket for the show.
That's so weird.
And like they would fill up the auditoriums. Why don't they do that no more?
Literally, like it's not even a midnight premiere anymore. Now things just come out Thursday at like 2.
Matinee and shit.
Yeah. It totally
It takes the fun out of it.
yeah, I just hype around cinema in general is just so different now. Like you wait a lot. Half the people are waiting till it comes out on TV so they don't have to leave home. Like
Right.
a lot of people are honestly afraid of movie theaters now too, which valid, but it sucks.
It takes away, I mean, I have so many memories of when we were in high school going to like movie theaters in
Yes.
general. We used to go, oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
Let's
Downtown
get a
Pleasant
little,
Hill?
let's get a little nostalgic. We would go downtown Pleasant Hill every Friday. And if you didn't go, you weren't it.
You like, and you get dropped off on the movie theater corner, and like it was just like a party.
Yeah.
Like people were just standing there
Literally just standing there.
with like your backpack still.
Yep.
Like you don't.
And like it would always be like, oh, I'm going because I want to go see Mikey because he's looking cute today.
Yeah. And we called it down. We would just say, "Are you going downtown
Are you going
tonight?"
down? Yeah. You going downtown? Will I see you downtown tonight?
Oh my god, that like makes a shivers go down my spine.
So
like that
fun.
was such a time of our lives.
But I remember one time we all went downtown, and usually we'd like walk around the park or like just hang out at Chipotle. But one time we were all like, I don't know if we were like all saved up our allowance that week or whatever, but we literally were all like, should we go see this scary movie? And do you remember it was literally like our whole class in the whole theater.
Yes.
We were piled on top of each other. It was so fun. Like
Nobody,
no one
like,
does
you didn't get
that no
kicked
more.
out,
You didn't get
like-
kicked out. Like literally everyone, we were all yelling, being so annoying and obnoxious
sure.
probably.
Yeah.
But like the fact that, I don't know, I wonder like what middle schoolers do now to have fun like that. Like going out and that doesn't have anything to do with social media or anything. We're really like showing our age right now.
I mean, yeah, but like it is all social media. Like, sure, I'm sure kids are still out here having like kickbacks and whatnot, but like you're making a TikTok while you're
TikToks.
doing it,
Yep.
and you're taking nice pictures to post that you were there to show you were there when we didn't care to take a picture.
I don't even think I brought my phone.
Exactly. Like, and I honestly, on the contrary, I definitely am sad we don't have pictures of all these memories.
Right.
Like, that is really cool that these younger generations have that. But yeah, like you didn't think about anything other than that
being there
moment.
Yep.
What a concept. Mindfulness. Who would have thought we were doing that at fucking 12? Seriously.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, oh, how does it look on the outside? Like, how can I post about this later? How can I make this aesthetic?
Am
like,
I having enough fun?
fuck.
Oh, it makes me so sad. It makes me really sad that my kids aren't going to experience that.
Me too. I think about that a lot. I still follow my old cheer coach. She's been my cheer coach since I was literally 9 years old, started cheer, Sean. And she posted something. It was like a reel or something on her story the other day that was like, it was just like a montage of like high schoolers at cheer practice. And the caption on screen was those days where you just want practice to be done and you just want to hurry up and go home, or like, you know, go hang out with friends. Like, really take a second and think about yourself 20 years from now and how you won't have practice and you won't see your friends. I was like watching it like, wait, this is so true. Like, it made me so sad because there were times where I was like, I don't want to go to practice, but like the things I would do.
What I would do.
Yes, completely.
We need to join a co-ed like
something
sport team.
I agree. I want that like team mentality back. Last night I actually dreamt about the Pleasant Hill Rebels. That was the youth cheer team I started on. And I had a dream, like, I think Leanna and Brie were in it, but we were this age. Like, it was our bodies now. Yes. But we were like, I remember we were lining up and they were having us do 3 cheers to figure out the formation for the games. Like, who's in the first line, who's second line, third, so on. And they weren't looking at me, the coaches. I don't even remember who the coaches were in the dream. And I was like, oh, I want to be in the front line. Like, and they were like calling everybody but me.
Just
like,
ignoring you.
Yeah, it was one of those dreams. Like,
fuck.
Like getting the last picked for like kickball or something. Yeah, I guess I still dream about that shit.
Oh.
No, it was like a really heavy dream. I woke up and was like, oh, what does that mean? Right. Like, I tried to read into it, but then I'm like,
no, you're gonna drive yourself crazy.
I took melatonin last night. I think that's why.
No, we were sitting on the couch last night and she's like, my melatonin is kicking in and I gotta go to bed.
I hate taking melatonin. It makes me sleep like kind of way too heavy and like I'm groggy the next day. But I just have not been sleeping well because I stopped smoking weed. And I smoked a lot of weed when we were in LA because I was just excited that like
you had California weed.
Exactly. And I kind of like got back into my groove of smoking weed, and then I came back here and tried to get back in my routine immediately, as one does after travel. And like I noticed a difference. It was very sluggish every morning because I was continuing to smoke. And then I just came to the confession that I think I need to stop again and just like trying at least get my sleep schedule back naturally, and then maybe I could smoke again. It's depending on it is the bet.
Right.
Thing.
Like the fact that you were sitting here the other night and you were like, fuck, I want it so bad.
Yes. It's always
scary.
I know. It did scare me. I don't like the feeling of thinking I need versus want, thinking I actually need something to operate. I don't like that like
mentality.
Lack of control.
Yeah.
But whenever I have late nights of editing, it's my favorite to smoke and just like hone in on an edit. When I'm high, I focus very well, oddly enough. And when I'm not high, I don't. So it was definitely one of those times where I was like, I know I'd whip this out double time.
Yeah.
But I have to stop at some point or it's just gonna get worse.
It's okay. You've been pretty good at like your what do they call them? Tolerance breaks?
Yeah.
You've been pretty good at your breaks, but
this is definitely the hardest one for some reason though.
Probably because after the California weed.
Right. Okay, we already said what we're wearing. Chucky and Jennifer's Body, but let's do song of the day.
My song of the day is Stereo Driver by Q.
One from earlier?
Yeah, it was playing earlier. And this artist, I have one other song that I've liked from him. Let me see. Take Me Where Your Heart Is. It's a bit like blew up. I don't know if it blew up on TikTok, but it got pretty big, pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
And he just dropped this one in September, Stereo Driver. It's really good.
It is good.
It's a vibe.
It feels old.
Yes.
Like it's one of those songs.
My favorite genre.
And I feel like sometimes when people try to do the old thing, it's like...
It's forced.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually was like, I feel like I need to check the year this was published.
Yeah.
Like it felt
that's why I was
old.
like, who is this?
Yeah.
Because it did feel old.
Yeah, we were listening to my last song of the day was Cooped Up by Post Malone, Mark Morrison, Sidekick, a few other people. And I listened to this morning, I was playing the radio of that song. So
It's my favorite thing to do. So like you could
yes.
find more of the same shit.
Exactly. So that's how Q came on. And then another song I found from that same radio was Restless Bones by Disco Lines. It was kind of funky. It came on and Alex looks over at me and she's like, I miss summer. I was like, hold on, baby. It's barely 60 degrees. Like we got some time.
I was walking home from getting my nails done this morning and I was freezing and I had a zip up jacket which was like kind of lightweight and then I had like a coat on and I was like thinking, wow, I'm really cold right now, and I checked the degrees and it was only 52 and I remember thinking, wow, this is like fucking nothing.
Yep.
This is fall, like
This is
warm weather.
Right. I still see people in just hoodies.
Yeah.
Barely that. Or just like long
Hoodies
sleeves.
or like long sleeves and like running shorts.
Yep.
Still like, whoa.
We'll acclimate.
Yeah.
I was
It'll
talking
give me
about
a couple
it
years.
with Amani today. We both got our nails done. We go to Sin Mail Lady. We were talking about the winter and she was like, honestly, I know it's intimidating. Like yes, it's going to be cold, but just keep yourself occupied. I promise you'll be okay. She said, and we've talked about this a million times, but
Right.
I love hearing it more and more because it
Me
makes
too.
it valid. She's like, nothing shuts down. It's not like the city stays inside. Like people still just get fucked up, drink themselves a sweater. There's still shows. There's like restaurants are still open till the same time. Like if it's even gonna snow, the city is prepared for it like 18 hours in advance, so the streets don't shut down. Like
Wow.
you could still Uber everywhere. You could take the subway. Like it's
normal.
As long as we are keeping ourselves out of the house, like we'll be totally fine.
Totally.
That's what you're saying. Did I say my song of the day?
Yes.
Okay. Those are song of the day. And before we get into our topics, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsor.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. And last week we talked a lot about love and standards and what we looked for in a relationship. And I actually had my therapy session immediately after we recorded that. And we talked a lot about my needs and like what my wants are and defining my needs in relationship, and specifically after my last relationship and like how that's changed since being single.
Yeah.
And it really made me like zoom out and see how much has changed since my last relationship because of everything that happened in my last relationship.
Right. And didn't it just like feel so much more productive that you had the session? Like we literally both had therapy right when we ended the video. Like we were still in the height of the emotion.
Yeah, it was still all like at the front of my brain. Yep.
It's so beneficial if you are able to talk to a therapist in like the height of the emotion that you're already in. It's just so beneficial, and BetterHelp is amazing for that because you can contact your therapist at any time and they'll get back to you in a timely manner when you're still in that raw emotion.
BetterHelp is online therapy done in the comfort of your own home, and they offer it worldwide, which is really cool because if you want like a specific type of therapy and they don't offer it locally, BetterHelp is great because you can match with someone who does offer that.
Yeah, they have a really broad range of expertise, which is nice. There's all types of therapy, and I think it's all about finding the type that's good for you. Also, if you're not vibing with the therapist you're matched with, you could totally change the therapist. They won't care. It's no extra charge. It's totally fine to just
Switch it up.
Yeah.
BetterHelp is also more affordable than traditional offline therapy, and they also offer financial aid if you need it.
So if you guys want to check it out, visit betterhelp.com/oddvice. That's better HELP, and join the over 2 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional.
Special offer for Oddvice listeners. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/oddvice. Thanks, BetterHelp.
Okie dokie.
We're going to get some spookiness coming out right in now.
Right now. Ready? We actually came up with this episode with very little structure. We were just like, let's just be scary, whether it's a scary story, a scary concept, a conspiracy. In past Halloween episodes, we've done murder stories and conspiracies. So we kind of want to stay along that like one subject each, research based, like bring something to the table format. 'Cause it seems like you guys really like that. So we actually don't know what each other is doing.
And I was going to say, mine's not research based.
Okay. Yours is
mine is, I'm going to be reading a short story.
about.
It's going to be spooky, and I'm not going to tell you what it's about. It's a short story. It's a fictional
is there like
story.
a title?
Yeah, it's called
Mary Had a Little Lamb. She reads the whole book of To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay, so it's a short story that was submitted on this website called Readsy Prompts, and it's writers who go in and there's contests and they write fictional stories
Sick.
based on different prompts each week. So this was the winner of this prompt. I'm not going to say the prompt yet because I don't want to give too much away.
Okay.
But the story itself is called Someone Has Died by Lonnie Russo. LONNIE
I'm scared.
And this, I hope you guys like it. I'm gonna try and read it like spooky. I want to set the scene. If you guys could please go like lay in your bed in the dark,
all the lights.
turn off all the lights, light a couple candles.
Ooh, I like this.
Maybe like put on like white noise music.
Ooh.
Be like super creepy. I want you to like really put yourself in this place. Okay.
Should I close my eyes?
Yeah. Picture yourself in bed.
No, I'm gonna get tired. We have to go out.
Okay. A little trigger warning. This story contains several depictions and descriptions of death.
Okay.
Someone has died. Of this, I am certain. I know it because I always know it. As I lie here alone in this big, empty bed and listen to the rain, I remember it as it returns to me. This feeling, this dread, skittering up and down my throat with 1,000 little legs. I settled in my stomach like a great stone, a solid, sickening weight. It is rancid in its heaviness and unmistakable in its familiarity. Someone has died. I do not know who. I sit up and I take a long breath, pulling my legs out from beneath the covers so that they can dangle above the hardwood, cold where I press my feet. The remains of chipped red polish color my toes. I had intended to paint them this week, but I could not choose a color. I have been told that I am bad at making decisions, too nervous to choose the wrong one, but I do not think that is true. Someone else has simply always been there to make them on my behalf, but I will make them now. I will call my daughter, I think. I move for the end table to retrieve my glasses. They sit crooked on my nose, and I push them back into place as I look at my cell phone. Plugged into the wall there. I wait for it to ring. I stare. I expect it, but it does not. I had told my husband at one time that we should keep the landlines, one in the kitchen and one in the bedroom, for hurricanes or when the power goes out. But there was no point, he had decided. No point when we had a family plan, which was expensive. But sitting here now, maybe there was a point, I think, and maybe I had not insisted hard enough. A person cannot silence landline phones, after all, not really, not the way they do mobile phones at night. Maybe someone has called me already, someone with the most awful news, and I did not hear it. Connie does not have a landline either. She may not even answer now, or worse, she may no longer be able to. I shudder, picking up the device. No missed calls. I turn on the sound and begin to flip through my contacts, squinting in the dark. Connie will answer, I think, and she will be upset that I woke her for nothing. She will say that the children are asleep and that she just checked on them. Howard is out cold beside her, and yes, she is positive, sure, 100% certain that she can see the rhythm of his chest, up and down, up and down. He is breathing. He is breathing, and he has work in the morning, and so I really should not bother them so early. There is nothing to worry about, and she will visit me soon. And we will get our toes done together, the pair of us. It must be the storm, she will say. The storm riling me up. Connie has always thought I worried too much, though, and maybe I do. I place the phone back down. I will not call her, I think. I have nothing to fret over. The phone has not rung. No one has called. And they always do it so tactfully, in hushed voices, as if the most terrible part of the announcement is the waking. The "oh, so sorry for disturbing you, ma'am." I stare at the phone again. I wait. It does not ring. I hover a hand over it, but I do not pick it up to make the call. I should not disturb her, but someone has died. Of this, I'm certain. My father died when I was 6 years old. I first felt this peculiar nauseous feeling, the sensation of knowing, as I lay in a bed much smaller than this one, with a delicate white metal headboard, wrought into the shape of flowers. I awoke and stared at the ceiling, taking a long, labored breath and pulling the heavy comforter up to my chin, just as I always did to fight off the wind that could fill the room in the winter months. It rattled the windows and it rattled me, shaking my very bones as I rolled over to look at the little toy chest across the room. It had been gifted to me by some distant cousins when I was very, very young, too young to recall the party. But it had sat there for as long as I could remember, as if it had always existed there alongside me. It now sat properly shut for the night. But that was when the sensation came over me for the first time, this indisputed, terrible stone in my gullet. Softly, as not to disturb my parents, I pulled myself upward to sit atop the mattress and crawled to the floor. I crept inch by inch across the room, my hair dangling over my face. I paused above the toy box and stared down at it. And for the reasons I even now cannot dare to say, I opened the lid. I do not know how my father got inside, but I saw his bulging, bloodshot eyes staring up at me in the dark. The rest of his swollen features obscured and buried by the The rest of his swollen features obscured and buried by the clutter. A baby doll whose own hinged eyes have broken, forever open. A spinning top, a velveteen teddy bear, an assemblage of blocks. My father's eye looked up at me from beneath them all.
No.
It blinked.
Oh! Ew!
And at last, he said my name. His voice, hoarse, a hollow, splintered noise, uttered through unseen lips from the very depths of his ravaged throat. The worst noise I ever heard. Cassie. I ran, and from the upper railing, my face placed flush between the wooden rods. I found my mother standing in front of the hallway, clad in her checkered nightgown. She wore her hair in curlers then and pressed up against a dark, wallpapered wall. She stared at the telephone in the alcove by the door. She stared, and I stared at her staring. And I know now that she knew like I know. But most people can tell, I think, even if they do not realize it. They pick it up in the chilliness of the air, in the lateness of the hour, in an unnatural flicker of a piece of fabric. These tiny signs that something is amiss, that the universe has shifted. They create in a person with enough sense to see a terrible sinking, heavy feeling, and finally the phone rang. Sometime later, my mother found me huddled by the doorway in my bedroom. I did not dare go back in, but I had retreated there to cower after a few minutes of listening. She smoked a cigarette, as she told me, a nervous habit people still did around their kids then. But I already knew, of course. I knew that my father had died. I learned later, not from my mother, that a towering industrial shelf in his warehouse had collapsed, and he had been buried by its contents. And I had found him just like that, entombed in my toy box, some grotesque phantom vision caught, like a crude, blurry snapshot of the moment of his death. But he was not there when my mother closed the chest again that night, and he did not return. The feeling, however, had been there. This terrible sensation of knowing, the awareness of death. I had felt it then, and I feel it now. I really should call Connie, I think. I pick up the phone, and as I look down at it, my finger hovers over the lock, but I do not press down. I should not bother her. Instead, I tuck the device back in place, and I rise from the bed. I rise, and as if compelled, I move for the closet. The mighty wooden armoire perched right beside the window, where the rain still patters. I stare at it, and I reach out a hand, but I hesitate. I hesitate because I think that if I open it, I might find someone staring back. A rotted specter come to visit. Perhaps it did not know where else to go. I do not deign to know the motives of decaying ghosts. And I still, even now, do not know why I saw my father that night. Only that at his funeral, I cried because they had once again put him in a box. And maybe that was it, after all, the soul's search for a box in which to be put. And maybe that was it, after all, the soul's search for a box in which to be put, now that its fleshy container had lost it. With a bracing breath, I grabbed the golden knobs. I should go back to bed. I should not open it. I should not open it because if I do, I may regret it. But if I do not open it, I will have to sit here and wait and stare at the phone until it begins to ring, which I, of course, know it will. And so, closing my eyes and rearing back my head so that I may not have to look, I grasp the handles and I tug. I tug and the armoire opens. I do not peek. I count to 3 in my head, and in the very back of my mind, I can see Connie now. Think of her as a child, in a red dress we had bought her for Christmas. I should like to remember her that way, I think, now. Not how I remember my father, not as a faceless, blackened eye in a box. I turn back my head. I take another breath, and I open my eyes. I see clothing, and only clothing. A closet full of patterned blouses and dresses I have so few opportunities to wear. But I will have to pick something out now, in black, for the services, I think, for whichever one I will have to attend. Not that one, though, but maybe this one, I decide, reaching out to run my fingers along the edges of a dark collared dress with silver buttons down its back. No, maybe not. Reaching into the armoire again, I pull out a dress with a low waist, a black rose stitched on the hip. I could wear it with the long silver chain my husband bought me. I think, the one with the silver charms. But maybe that would be too garish, too bold for such a grim occasion. No, I think I could wear it with my mother's pearls. They're more understated. I had known it when she died too, but she had gone suddenly. No, not like a lamp abruptly turned out before the dark. Her own end had come gradually, like the waning glow of sunset, bit by bit, until night could be the only natural expected conclusion. The phone rang in the middle of the afternoon that day, when I had been folding laundry, the weight of knowing in my stomach.
The sunset
line?
I really liked that.
Really good.
That was such a good analogy of death.
The hospital had told us to go home and to rest that morning and that they would call if anything changed. But something had indeed changed before they decided to tell us. I wandered in the kitchen that day to find Connie already with the telephone's cord jumbled around her elbow, and I knew for certain. I should call Connie now, I think. I should have her check on Howard and the children. No, it would wake them. They would be upset, and really, it is just as likely to be a coworker or someone from the church. These thoughts bring no comfort. But still, wrapped in them, like a terrible frayed quilt, I reached into the closet once more, shifting through the row of heavy clothing, in search of the long-sleeved dress with the belt. I will wear that one to the funeral, I think. It might be the proper choice because I had worn it to my husband's funeral. I was alone in bed on the night Richard died. He had been working late, as he so often did, and I had fallen asleep early, with the television on, lulled by the lullaby of commercials and rain. I awoke, as if from a nightmare, to find an infomercial about a countertop grill just starting to loop. The feeling once again took hold as I rolled over to check the alarm clock, blinking red, and I lay there for a good while, watching my phone, curled up in a ball beneath the covers, as some sports star extolled the virtues of sleek design, grease traps, and easy cleaning. Mm-hmm. The phone rang at 2:27 in the morning, and it was on the third chime that I felt a sudden shift in the bed beside me. A ragged, heavy breath ghosted my ear, hot and garbled, the way a person chokes, and the familiar weight of an arm stretched over to wrap around my shoulder. The exhaling came, then, again and again. A steady, labored noise rattled in some phantom throat, but I did not dare to turn around. I wished now that I had, but I did not. I stared forward. I did not blink, and I picked up my cell phone, plugged into the wall there. Hello? There's water in the car, Cass. Oh God, there's so much water in the car. I let out a long breath at Richard's voice, distorted by static, and all at once the bed was empty again, and only silence was ringing in my ear. A police officer told me a few days later that his little silver Ford had been caught in the sudden storm and that he had swerved too hard around a bend in the road. He had died from the collision when the vehicle hit the water, they said, and the drop was too high for any other possibility, of course, so at least he did not drown. Something said to me as if it were a genuine comfort. And he had not been conscious to see the water filling his car. They did not find his phone. Oh God, I should call Connie. I cannot take this anymore. Turning from the armoire, I move once more for the bed. For my telephone still plugged into the wall, perched there on the end table, I stare and it rings, and I scream. I can recall, even from where I am now, that it was a full, horrible noise hurled from the depths of my stomach, and if I were finally letting that terrible great stone out, the one that had been sitting there within it, it echoes from the very core of me. But I do not answer the phone. My neighbor in the apartment next door is a nice young man. He has shaggy hair and an earring, and he checks in on me from time to time. I stir him from sleep with my wailing, and he will, a few moments from now, come to knock on my door. I do not answer because I'm picking up the telephone to see that I have a missed call from Connie. And shaking there in my dark bedroom, as he knocks, I decide to dial her again. My neighbor will call the police. He will tell them that he heard a scream a little bit after 3 a.m, and he will tell that same story still for many, many years to come, whispered around darkened tables and across the occasional campfire. The police will call Connie, and she will tell them that she had been laying awake all night herself, tossing and turning with a great heavy weight in her stomach. She will tell them that she had called when she could no longer bear it, but I did not answer, even though her own phone will ring a few seconds later. She will answer it to hear only her name. She will say, uttered desperately through a flurry of static, but there will be no record of that call, and they will not believe her, citing technical glitches or tricks played by fear. And when they break down my door, they will think I had fallen asleep with my armoire doors open and my glasses on the floor. I had not, but they will find me just as I found myself, blue-faced, breathless, covered still by the mounds of blankets in my own empty bed, where I lay for many motionless hours by then. Someone has died. Of this, I'm certain. Someone has died. It is I.
What the hell? I'm confused. All these tenses. Like it sounded like
she died.
Yes, but like it sounded like she was waiting for someone else to die. Was she just planning on killing herself?
No, I think she just has that gut feeling when people died, but she didn't know she was the one who died.
Ah, got it.
She thought her daughter died.
Okay, got it.
Was that creepy?
That was creepy. I'm still thinking about the toy box thing.
No, the toy box was it.
I think
that got me hooked.
Dressed like a toy right now too.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
Is it me?
that was fucking creepy. I
hope you guys like that. I read it and I was like, okay, this is like I pushed my laptop away from me.
You're like, I think that's the one.
Yeah.
No, it's fucking creepy. That's like a psychological, like the whole time I kept thinking, okay, I understand where this is going, and then something would switch. And
yeah,
it was written so well.
It was written really beautifully. I mean, I think that's why it was the winner of that prompt. Oh, let me read the prompt.
What was the prompt?
Write about a character who is pathologically ambivalent until something shakes them up.
What's ambivalent
mean? I think that means like, let me look it up. Having mixed feelings or contradictory ideas about something or someone. So like it's that gut feeling in her stomach, like something's wrong. I don't know what exactly.
Okay.
And then the thing that shakes them up was the fact that she was dead herself.
That's
Imagine
such a
having
crazy
that
perspective.
Gut feeling, knowing someone died.
I mean, maybe we'll have it.
Knowing that I die
after I die? Yeah. Who knows?
I didn't have a gut feeling. Did you have a gut feeling?
With my grandma?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You did?
Absolutely. I literally was making bruschetta and I stopped. All I had to do was put it on the bread.
Yeah.
But I stopped mixing the tomatoes and was like, I was in the kitchen. She was in the living room. So like, that's like where her bed was.
You felt it.
Yep. I felt like a stillness in the air, really. And like, it wasn't like a scared or a sad. It was just like a total redirection of my focus and energy was to her all of a sudden.
Yeah.
More than it already was the whole weekend. And I walked over and I was like, oh.
I didn't know with my grandma, but I knew when I woke up with my Opa. Did I tell the story about the clock?
I don't know.
I don't think I told the story. So when my Opa passed away, we had seen him at the hospital the night before, and the morning after we were going through, or the day before, we were actually going through a lot of his things. And there's this old Dutch clock that he has, and my dad gave it to me, and super old, doesn't work. Like, I think the face is even cracked. He had given it to me that day. And then the next morning, you know, those like split seconds when you wake up, but you're like not awake yet. They say there's like 7 seconds where your brain's like not fully functioning.
Yeah.
In those 7 seconds, I heard the clock ticking. And I remember like having a conscious thought, like, oh, maybe it does work. Like maybe my dad just like didn't like, I don't know, set it right or whatever. Sure. It for sure works. And then I woke up and the ticking stopped. And like 2 minutes later, my dad walked in and was like, Opa passed last night or this morning at like 4 a.m. Yeah. So I think it was him.
I mean, for sure. Like that stuff's so real. And that part of the story where it said like, the police will say it was something that was just induced by fear, blah, blah, blah. I hate how much we write that off. Like, we're like not crediting ourselves enough with like being able to pick up on that shit.
Yeah. That's the
real.
human connection.
Exactly. Especially with family members. Like it's one thing to, you know, feel doom in like a societal level, but like when it's someone like your blood, like, yeah, you're going to fucking feel it. It's part of
it's
you.
bloodline.
Exactly. That was a good story. Good job. You're
Thanks.
good reading. That was good. Like popcorn reading.
Ooh,
yeah,
okay.
Good.
Thanks. I was kind of nervous, guys.
No, it felt like class. Like I was like, I can't talk. Like I started petting Link and I was like, hands to myself. Like
pay attention.
Right. Like I felt like I had to like focus. That was really good.
I hope you guys were spooked.
So I'm not doing a story. I'm kind of doing like
I'm so excited.
I'll just fucking tell you what it is. I don't know why I'm hyping it up just to tell you a second later. I'm going to talk about the invention and the history and the science behind the Ouija board.
This is so good, Kristen.
I was weirdly immediately called to do this, which is ironic because I fucking hate Ouija boards.
You're so against them.
So against them. I won't fuck with them. I don't like the fact that I'm even giving it this much of my time right now is like it's a lot. But what I read about it, I think made me feel a little bit better.
Good.
And I talked to Chris about it, which I'll get into too. So like, I don't know. There was just like an interest I had. And I'm actually, now that I did the research, I'm glad I really dove in. I figured with any presentation, let's start with the definition. If you don't know what a Ouija board is, it is a flat board game with letters of the alphabet arrayed in 2 semicircles above the numbers 0 through 9. There are words yes and no in the uppermost corners and goodbye at the bottom. And each board comes with a planchette, which is it's French for little plank, and it's a teardrop shaped little device that you slide around on the board with the people that you're playing with or yourself. You can also do this alone. And it has a small window in the middle of the planchette that reveals what letter it's selecting.
Trying to communicate.
Yes, or the yes or no or goodbye.
I never knew about the goodbye.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You have to say goodbye. That's like a big thing.
That's how you end it.
Yes. And
you
if
close
you don't,
the doors.
Correct. Yeah. And like a lot of people don't, and then like shit hits a fan. Yeah, so the name, it's Egyptian for good luck. I couldn't find one like direct reason why it was named that. There was a few different like concepts as to why it was called Ouija. There was also one that Ouija, so it's Ouija, is the combination of French and German for yes. How do you say yes in German?
Yeah.
And how do you spell it?
J-A.
So we is yes, and then jaw.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. Who knows?
Is it like Hasbro? Like who
it
makes
is now.
Oh, it
so
is?
it's Hasbro now, but I'll get into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yes.
Who makes these?
So you can buy them today for about $20. The first one was around $1.50, which is so crazy to think. It was created in 1886 in Chestertown, Maryland, and it was officially named the Ouija board in 1890. Going back to the planchette that, I hope I'm fucking saying that right. All right, Google said I pronounced it right. The planchette. It was in 1100 AD. Oh. It was traced back all the way there that the Chinese Song dynasty used it as like an automatic writing device. So that's kind of all I found on that. But hearing automatic writing does kind of feel like the Ouija board, because you
spelling a sentence.
Exactly, you spell words, sentences, whatever. So that's a little backstory of the planchette. But yeah, created 1886, called the Ouija board in 1890. July 1st, 1890, it was officially like started to be like mass produced, and Elijah Bond and Jishnu Thayagarjan. Look how I literally had to like spell out the thing. Thyagharajan. Wow. That's the last name. Those are the two people that invented it. So they created it then, and then about a year later, February 10th, 1891, they officially patented it. And the patent number is 446,054. And to put it in perspective, we are currently in the 11 millions for patent numbers. So it's like such an OG.
Oh my
number.
God.
Isn't that cool?
That's so cool.
So when it was I can never say that. Patented. Whatever. They had to bring it into the office. Obviously, like the person had to like, is this real? Like, how am I going to pass this if it's just like a little phony board? And
your light just turned off in there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No, I'm done. You had a light on in there, right? Yeah, I did. No, I can't do this. I'm dead ass.
That's crazy. No, I want to leave the apartment. The light fully just turned off in the bedroom. Yeah, we can't. I'm sorry. I'm really scared right now. Like, we're not even like this.
What the fuck?
You had a light on in there, right?
I don't know. Did I?
Yeah. I mean, I saw. Did you see my eyes like flicker over? It wasn't that.
Okay. I went in there and I tightened it. Like my light bulb was loosened. That's why the light went off. That was very weird. I don't like that.
No.
Like I promised we're being serious like that.
Did you do it again?
Also, when I walked in there to check on the light bulb, I saw my face. I was like, I'm bleeding. Like it's weird to see my face like this. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. I really stayed on the like history of it because I don't know. Let's just keep going.
Oh, I'm scared right now.
No, I know that fucked me up. So after it was patented. It was February 1981, and that's when they really started to market it. There were advertisements for it, like people. It was phrased the wonderful talking board. It was marketed as this magical device that can answer questions about your past, present, future, other people that have passed. Like really this tool. A lot of people were using it as a tool, and it had a lot of accuracy for a lot of people. So that built the hype even more. Yeah. It really caught on. It also got really popular in like the 1910s and 20s because it was something that people started to lean on during those like uncertain times. And when they were losing people, like they were using it. Yeah. It was kind of eerie.
Oh,
That
like a magic 8-ball.
Yes. But
for talking to people. Right.
By 1944, one department store sold 50,000 boards.
Wow.
And then in 1967, 2 million were sold. That year, it outsold Monopoly boards. When I heard that, I was like, oh no. Like Monopoly?
Whoa. And like to think of that time, like the late 60s, a lot of serial killers.
Yep.
A lot of like scary shit. Like that's when my mom described, and like my grandma too, that's when like people started locking their doors.
Yeah.
A lot of like things started to go downhill.
Got a little
60s.
darker.
Got a little darker.
Probably because everybody was fucking playing with Ouija boards.
Yeah, no, they opened something up.
That's why I don't fuck with them. I was always told don't mess with them. Like I had friends growing up that would play with them, and I would literally choose to opt out and like go sit in the room. Don't even want to touch it. I've never owned one. I
don't think I ever played with one.
Good.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if I did, I don't remember, and like nothing happened.
Right. Yeah. I don't fuck with it. Ugh. Okay. So in 1971, The Exorcist came out. That's another thing I don't fuck with. I don't fuck with The Exorcist, and I don't fuck with Ouija boards. You know, those and butterflies. Those are the three things I just thank you. Come again.
Those are on your no way list.
Yes. The Exorcist, that movie was shaped around a 12-year-old Regan who was possessed by a demon after playing with a Ouija board.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So after that movie came out, people were like, oh, fuck. Like, I have one in my garage right now. Like, this can happen to me. And based off what I researched, that's when people really started to fear it. So before this, it was like this tool that was still like kind of spooky, kind of witchy. But then that movie really, it turned into this darkness, and probably is a big reason I am afraid of it. Yeah. Because that was when my parents probably learned about it, and then my mom always told me about it. Like it, you know, got
dark
passed on.
energy.
And I think that time, all of a sudden being afraid of it also gave it that power of darkness, and
it's feeding into it.
Yeah. So after that, the Ouija board became a tool of the devil, and it was said that a lot of religious groups started saying it was Satan's preferred method of communication. People were burning them. People were getting rid of them, and yeah, just all that darkness. So back to Hasbro. They bought it in 1991, and that was when it was like totally mass produced. And when they were first made, they were wood, and then Hasbro does like plastic ones
like
now.
foldables.
Exactly. Now that like literally how Monopoly boards fold up. So now that Hasbro has it, it's like
it takes away the luster of it, even if it is like dark, and because it's very it's a powerful tool,
right?
And like the fact that Hasbro just like
has their logo on it, like the smiley face, like it's a blue square, right? Yeah. Hasbro with the smiley. That's so weird how we know logos like that. It always freaks me out. Like I don't know why I know that, but it's burnt my fucking skull.
You can see it.
I looked up vintage Ouija boards when I was doing this too, and
are they so pretty?
They're fucking gorgeous. Like they're so pretty. I saw one that someone put in between two things of glass and made like a coffee table.
Sick.
And I was like, that's so cool, but
no,
absolutely not putting that in my house.
No fucking way.
I meant to tell you, I saw a coffee table on the street today outside of our place, but I was on my way to my nail appointment.
You should have called me. We could have like ran it up real quick.
I think it might have been a little too big, but it was like gold and like.
Oh my God, Kristen! I'm so mad at you right now.
I think it was a little too big. Sorry.
We could have measured it.
I didn't have a measuring. Actually, there's a measuring app on our phones now. Yeah. So I could have. Sorry.
It's okay. Lost op. It's crazy you did that.
So that's pretty much the gist of the history, but this is supposed to be a spooky episode, so I want to say some stories
that have happened with
Ouija boards. In 1921, a New York Times reporter reported a woman in Chicago was sent to a psychiatric hospital and tried to explain that she wasn't suffering from mania, but that the board told her to leave her mother's dead body in the living room for 15 days, and then she buried her in the backyard.
Oh my God.
Said that the board told her to.
Imagine,
and I believe her.
Absolutely.
I believe her.
Absolutely. But like, imagine your mom dies and your first thought is to go to the Ouija board and like ask, what do I do next?
But that's what and it was 1921. Remember I said in those years, people were like, this is a tool. Like I could use this to talk to people. She passed. Like I have to ask her what she
probably wants with her body.
Yes.
Oh my fucking God.
Yes.
And you know what? Mom probably said, bury me in the backyard.
But not fucking 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, okay. In 1930, two women in Buffalo, New York, they murdered another woman because the Ouija board told him to. A lot of these are like the Ouija board told me to. I saw several stories with that same.
Like I was told.
Yes.
I was told.
Literally murdered somebody because the board told them to. In 1958, Mrs. Helen Dow Peck, she's very wealthy. She left only $1,000 to her 2 former servants, but then left $152,000. Again, this is 1958. $152,000 to Mr. John Gale Forbes, who was a spirit that contacted her through the board. Completely rewrote her will because a spirit was like,
shut the fuck up. What does a spirit need cash for?
The ghost story? I don't know, but I think I also read with that same story, the judge like overruled it and was like,
thank fucking God.
Because like economically, like where are you going to put that money?
Like literally, where's the transfer?
What's when I die, I put my money in a grave?
What's his ABA routing number?
What's his Venmo?
You go to Venmo? Ghost 123
_ No, this is not funny, Alex. It's supposed to be scary.
No, honestly, I'm using humor because I'm really fucking scared right now.
I know, guys.
I keep looking at that room.
I know, sorry. Okay, this next one, it's a little bit longer. I found it on Reddit. My buddy Roger had a basement. At the foot of the basement, you already know it's scary. He had a fucking basement.
Absolutely.
At the foot of the basement stairs was a door. This door closed off the basement / pool and darts room from the rest of the house. The only problem is after so many years, the door really swelled up and was no longer able to close. Trying to close the door was a task. It had swelled so much that the flooring had actually gouged out from the door scraping so hard. We all know those doors.
Yep.
Super old doors. Can't get in the hinge anymore. They're always open, but like you leave it. Roger, myself, and 2 other friends are playing around with the board in the dark. After about 15 minutes of goofing off, Roger's mother calls him up for dinner. He doesn't go. More shenanigans ensue for maybe another 5 to 10 minutes. Roger's mother gets heated. We can now hear her stomping across the house above us. She gets to the stairwell and screams, "Roger, get your ass up here. Dinner is ready." Roger responds, okay, give me 2 more minutes. Mother responds, "Don't just stand there at the foot of the stairs. Get up here." Now, here's the problem. We're roughly 15 to 20 feet from the door. There's no way she sees Roger at the bottom of the stairs. Roger exclaims, "We're sitting at the bar." And the moment the word bar leaves Roger's mouth, the door that nobody can close slams shut with a purpose. I just got chills.
Absolutely fuck not.
The 4 of us immediately went from joking around to screaming in panic as we couldn't open the door. Roger's dad jumped through the basement window and had to kick the door open. I never went back to Roger's house.
Damn, he lost a friend that day.
He lost a brother. No, Roger's like, guys, come on.
It's my fault.
Like, it's cool. It's clear. We fixed the door. I wouldn't go back to fucking Roger's.
No. So they were using the Ouija in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why he's like, 5 more minutes. Like, they were fucking around the board.
I hate that.
She said that sorry, I keep looking at my room. No. Scared. She saw him at the bottom of the stairs. He wasn't there.
That's okay. That's one where it's like, that's out of human control. Like the murder ones and like, oh, the Ouija told me.
Like there is a side it could still be mania.
Right.
This
one is like, holy shit, you opened a portal in that basement.
Yes, and a door that never closes, and like they had to kick it down. Like, how did it slam so easy? That
and
much
like
force.
Fucking with someone's like what they're seeing.
Yeah.
They're like that's
another level. Okay. So yeah, I believe this shit. I do. Again, that's why I don't fuck with it. But when I was researching it, I was like, okay, I kind of want to like bring this back to Earth and look up the science behind it, because it being so popular for over 100 years now and it being a tool for so many of those years, I had a feeling like someone would have had some maybe good experience with it or useful experience with it.
Right.
And I actually found a lot of science behind it.
Wait, okay, so can you describe like how you use it? So you put 2 fingers on the, you didn't say this yet, right?
The planchette thing?
Yeah.
2 fingers, 1 finger. You could do it. It's not the amount of fingers, I don't think matters.
Okay.
But pretty much you play with yourself or a friend, and you usually start with yes or no questions, because it's like a lie detector test. Like you have to like gauge
it's legitimacy.
Gotcha. And then you can ask certain questions. I'm not going to give examples, but you can ask certain things to step forward, or you ask what you want to ask,
looking for.
And if something is channeled, the planchette moves and it could spell things out. There was actually another story I read that was like someone's father passed away and there was a box with like code on it, like a security box or whatever, but she didn't know the code, and she literally got the code through the Ouija and it was right, and she was able to open the fucking box.
Whoa.
Like,
that's
yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so God, I didn't write down the year, I'm so sorry, but this is like a recent study, I'd say within the past like 10 years tops.
Okay.
These two scientists, Dr. Ron Rensink, professor of psychology, computer science, psychologist Helene Gaucho, and there's a third scientist, Dr. Sidney Felt, a professor of electrical and computer engineering, did a study of what happens when somebody uses the Ouija board. So their first study, they had a robot in another room, and then they had two people in a separate room playing with the Ouija board. The robot, they told the people, hey, we have a robot in the other room that's going to mimic your movements. But in actuality, the robot is going to amplify the movements. But they told the two people that were part of the test this so that they can believe that like they were in control.
Got you.
So they started with yes or no questions about like, they didn't do anything scary. They did like sports facts or whatnot. And they noticed when they asked the people verbally, their answers were correct about like 50% of the time, which they figured like any guess is 50%, obviously. Right. So they were like, okay, that tracks. But when they used the board, and they believe like when these people thought that the answers were coming from something else, the board's giving us the answers to these questions, they were right over 65% of the time.
Whoa.
So they were like, what the hell? Like, how are they able to like get it right when like we know they don't know the answer, but something's telling them the answer? Now, hearing this, I'm like, because a fucking spirit's giving the answer, like, duh. But like, they weren't asking spooky questions. So they thought it was coming from their non-conscious brain.
I was going to say your subconscious is smarter than your frontal, right?
Completely. And I don't know if non-conscious and subconscious is different, because I thought that too, but when I read the study, they were using the word non-conscious.
Oh, interesting.
And it was pretty much, when I looked into it just a little bit more, again, I'm not a fucking scientist. I didn't research too crazy for a podcast. But the non-conscious is the things you take in. It sounds so stupid, but like unconsciously. So it could even be driving down the street. You see, a cajillion billboards driving down Sunset. You are taking in every single one.
Right.
And they're saying like when these people were giving the power to this external force, the board, they were able to maybe, take away the shame of getting the answer wrong or whatever it may be. And they were able to tap into this other side of their brain because they were believing that something else had the accurate answer when in reality they had it.
Whoa.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So they did the test again. They did 2 people, no robot, but they were blindfolded. One of the people was in on it. So really the test, I guess, was only on one person. Again, they're blindfolded. Homie number 1's in on it. Homie number 2's not. Homie number 1 takes off his blindfold. So the test patient's the only one with the blindfold now.
Okay.
Also takes their hands off the planchette.
Oh, so now the person who's blindfolded.
Like they're fully in control. Fully
okay.
in control. They ask questions and it starts moving. In test number 2, the blindfolded is like, stop moving it. What the? Like they're like complaining that
someone's fucking with it.
And their hands are literally up. So the conclusion they came to is it's part of the ideomotor effect, which is our brain replicating muscular movements for what we're expecting to happen. An analogy was like crying when you watch something sad. Yes, that's like a lot of other things firing in the brain, but like it said, like that reaction where you like, this is sad, I know I should be reacting this way. Right. They compared it to that.
Is it like that trick where you like put your finger up?
Oh, and you like
rub both sides and you could like, feel it? Is it like that?
I don't know, because it said muscular movements.
Yeah, but it feels like it might be something
like that. Yeah. Like
you're putting the puzzle piece there.
You know what I feel like it's like? You know that trick where someone like holds your arms to your sides hella tight?
Yeah.
And tells you to push out. And you like force it for like a minute. You have this like tension. And then the second they take their arms away, like you relax your arms and they start floating up.
And you're like, I'm not doing this.
And like you're not.
Yeah.
But it's that effect where like you're brain knows
that it wants to be doing that.
yes.
Yeah,
And
okay.
like your muscles were just doing that. So like you do it.
What do you believe?
What?
What, like, do you think that's
Absolutely
it?
not. It's fucking spirits. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. No, my light just turned off.
Shut the fuck. Did it?
No.
Oh.
I'm saying like in general.
No, I'm scared.
No, we
you
have
can't
to go.
fuck with me like that.
No, I mean, I fully believe it. I think this shit's so real. I think ultimately what you believe is what's true for you too.
Right.
So for me, if I'm going to give it that power and it's going to creep me out,
It's
shit
gonna
like my
work.
light coming off is going to happen. Like it's going to work. So I don't know. I mean, there's always a way to debunk it with science, but did it debunk it or did it make more questions? Like,
Absolutely.
you know, like,
Yeah.
did it actually tell us anything? I don't know. So after this study, like right now, these scientists are trying to get some funding behind some more research using the Ouija board. They have this feeling that they can use it to really tap more into this non-conscious side of the brain and possibly even catch things like early Alzheimer's or these answers that people are
Right.
getting more accurate when their hands on the board, putting the faith into like something external, whatever. They really think there's something here, but they're having a hard time getting it funded because people are like, no, dude, it's a fucking Hasbro Ouija board. Like, I'm not putting my money into this.
For something to stick around for
Over 160 years.
Yeah. For over 160 years, that's not just like a fad and a game. Like,
Sure.
it holds power.
Yes. And whether we gave it the power or not, like the power is there. How else do you explain these weird, like that person able to get that security code thing for the box?
The
and, like,
unexplainable ones.
the ones where they actually are giving answers is really crazy to me. There's so many
Yeah.
more, like certain numbers, certain locations, and it ends up being right. Like, I don't know.
Ugh.
I'll leave you guys on a funny note. I feel like this is getting a little spooky. I'm getting sweaty. Like literally the start of my research, I typed in Ouija board stories. And the other day, like it was like a top headline. There was in Texas, a grandmother passed away, and at the funeral, she gave out cards that with a picture of her. And like I looked at the article, all these pictures of her. She's total cool grandma, like tongue out, peace sign, like she was like fun. And the cards were a picture of her and then like a little printout of a Ouija board, and it said, "Let's keep in touch."
Hey.
And she passed him out at the funeral.
Oh my
so
God.
cute.
That is so dope.
I saw that and I was like, okay, I'm going to write this down. I feel like that'll be a good thing to finish on because it's a little more positive.
That's great. There's a movie called Ouija too, right?
Yes, I'm not going to watch it, but I saw it when I was researching and I didn't know there was a movie.
I don't know if I've seen it, but now I wonder, like, is there like some creepy shit surrounding it or whatnot? Probably.
I don't care. This is the last time I'm talking about it. I'm surprised I even fucking did this for the
I'm
episode.
very surprised you did this. It's
Once
really cool.
Thank you. Once I looked up like the sciencey part, I was like, okay, wait, this is kind of sick. So
You gave both sides of it.
what do you guys believe? After me giving both sides, again, I didn't research that fucking heavy, but do you think it's science or do you think it's spirits? I really want to know.
Science or spirits?
Great podcast. I really want to know your guys' perspective. So let us know in the comments below. Let's also do that for Patreon. All our Patreon people, please, for Friday's episode, let us know what you think. Also, I feel like whenever we say Patreon people, it sounds like an exclusive club. Anybody can join. We have 3 tiers. It's always linked down below. If you are interested in it, we always have it in the description. I feel like it sounds like something that like is like a
different thing, not a part of the podcast, but it's very much a part of the podcast.
It's just an extension of the podcast. We have an extra episode every week on Fridays. So let's talk Ouija shit. Let's talk some more spooky stories. How did you feel about Alex's story? Like,
and send in, like, if you guys have any like written scary stories, send them in. Like, down to read more.
For sure. I know come Friday, it'll be November, but like
still spooky
season. Kind of.
Also on Patreon, if you would like to join, it's a little bit different now. You can join any day and you'll be charged on that day each month. So they used to do it a different way. You would sign up on a certain day and then you would also get charged on the 1st, and their billing cycle or whatever was always on the 1st. But now they changed their payment process. So you can sign up whatever day and then you'll get charged monthly on that same, like, so say you signed up on the 12th, you'll get charged on the 12th of the next month and then onward. So
feel like it just makes it cleaner.
It makes it
nicer.
cleaner. It was kind of like weird having to describe their other payment process before.
I'm like, why was that even a thing?
Right. But it'll make it easy on you guys. So we do have a Patreon. We also have a Discord. It's a big group chat, and we have a few different tiers. And our hella tier, we do Zoom calls every week, which is really fun. We all just like hang out, and a lot of times we're just like hungover and like vibing. And
90% of the time, we're like, guys are like, what'd you do last night? We're like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's our Zoom call to like be checked in on, but it's like our wellness check each week.
It is a wellness check.
It's fun though. We talk about everything. Our Discord is fucking popping though. Literally the other night, someone came on pretty late and was like, I need help with I need to Zoom you guys and do like a presentation because I need X amount of people on it for this class. And like we all hopped on a Zoom just randomly at like 10 at night. And
it was fun.
It was actually a great presentation, by the way.
Really good.
But yeah, it's fun over there if you want to join, or if not, we appreciate your support either way. Again, even if you're not on Patreon, leave us comments on YouTube.
That's my favorite thing.
Just
reading the comments.
Let us know how you feel about this episode. And if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate us 5 stars and leave a review. It helps us out a whole bunch, people. Happy Halloween. We love you. If you're going out tonight,
please be safe. Don't fuck with Ouija boards. I'm like really scared. Like I want to get the fuck out of this house right now.
Don't fuck with Ouija boards. Oh fuck, our camera's gonna die. I love you guys. Okay, we're gonna go out.
Like me.
Okay, creepy.
Bye.
Bye.